The Radio Memories Network is brought to you in part by Liberated Syndication, podcast publishing made easy, libsyn.com. That's libsyn.com.
Welcome to the Old Time Radio Network Detective Stories, continuing America's love affair with private eyes. We now go back to the early days of radio and our imaginations with our feature presentation.
Being a private investigator means two things. You can be sure you'll run into trouble, and you can never be sure you get out of it. So there's not much you can do about it, I guess, except, like Julie always says,
walk softly, Peter.
And now Peter Troy investigates the Karate Kid. Old lady is supposed to have said that she thought William Shakespeare was a wonderful writer because he always managed to work so many well-known quotations into his plays. In my book, not even a dear old lady could be that dumb. But the fact is, if you like to poke your nose into a volume of the Bard's scribblings, you'll surely find enough cute quotes to win yourself a prize any day as a cocktail party bore. But he knew his world, did old Will. And at the risk of boring you now, I'm going to trot out the one that goes, lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. Which is to say, if you don't mind my milking it a little, a sweet, beautiful dame who turns out to be an axe murderess is more of a shocker than some creep who looks like a killer and turns out to be one, in fact. Which brings me to the case of a very special and lovely girl by the name of Geraldine Craig. A case that also closely concerns her young brother, called Joey.
So that's the way we're going lined up, Joey. It's as simple as stealing apples. The car will be parked right here in Chester Street, and all we've got to do is pinch it. Get it over to the garage and no to the risk.
Eddie, I told you...
There's nothing to it. It's the easiest one we've had yet, and there's 50 quid in it for us. The boss says you get the same money as I always get.
I'm not going to do it.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I told you when I came in here, I'll finish with all that, Eddie. I'm not stealing any more cars.
Since when?
Since the last time. It's no good. It's not my cup of tea, that's all.
What's got into you, Joey boy?
I'm waking up to myself, that's what. I'm getting a decent job and going straight. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life running away from cops.
What have you done with your brains, Joey? Scrambled them for breakfast?
I know what I'm doing. I'll finish with that gang and all that car stealing. Well, you've been good to me, Eddie. You know, I don't like walking out on you, but... Well, it's a case of us being at the parting of the ways, like the saying goes.
Parting of the ways? My, don't you talk fancy now. Where'd you get that stuff from? That old song singer that runs that kids' club you've been going to?
Oh, yes, I expect I did pick it up from Mr. Benton. But he's a good sort, is Mr. Benton. Oh, we have a good time at the club, too. Well, you ought to come along sometime, Harry.
Come along? To that jumping plaything, a rosy with a little old frontal voice? Not me. You don't catch me hobnobbing with a bunch
All right, Harry. You don't have to go on and on about it. All right, I better be pushing along.
Here. Wait a minute. You can't just walk out on me like that.
I'm sorry, Harry.
Sorry? Never mind about being sorry. I put a lot of time showing you the tricks. How to do things right. And you're not going to walk out on me just because...
Harry, I'm going. There's no use arguing about it.
No use arguing? We'll see about that.
Now, what does that mean? You just watch your step, Harry. Don't you go threatening me or you might find you're bitten off more than you can chew. You get in my way, Harry, and you might just end up with a broken nose. Two juvenile delinquents hurling threats at each other in a fun parlor in Soho. What does that have to do with a beautiful doll called Geraldine Craig? Well, nothing, at least not right now. What does a beautiful doll like Geraldine Craig have to do with me? Too much for Julie's money. Julie is a wonderful secretary, and very tolerant for a woman. But one thing of which she does not like to see too much is attractive dames. The subject which has been the cause, more than once, of a slight difference of opinion between us. So, when Geraldine, with her 36-24-36 frame, poured into a 34-22-34 dress, glided into the office, Julie was delighted to be able to tell her the truth.
I'm sorry. Mr. Troy is busy. Oh, I'm sure he can spare just a minute. So perhaps he could. Some other time. Miss Craig, Geraldine Craig. If you care to make an appointment, Miss Craig. Is this his office over here?
Well, you can't do it there. Miss Craig, you have no right.
Mr. Troy, Mr. Peter Troy.
Yeah. That's right.
Your secretary said you were busy.
And so he is.
What, cutting out paper dolls?
Well,
I always cut out paper dolls when I'm thinking over a case.
Yes. He finds paper dolls less troublesome than live ones. But you wouldn't know about that. Oh, but I would. I understand perfectly. I'm sure Mr. Troy and I have a lot in common.
Oh, do we, Miss? I didn't catch the name.
I didn't know.
Touche. You must go to a lot of movies. Well, that's with private eye talk.
The name is Craig. Geraldine Craig. Do I come into your office, or do you usually conduct your interviews at the door?
Oh, pardon me. Do come in, Miss Craig. Take a seat.
And there was a glass with lipstick on it. She must have left just before I got in.
I'd
anything else?
like to see you
I didn't
privately, if you don't mind, Mr. Troy. Mr. Troy likes me to stay for all interviews with clients, Miss Craig. He likes me to take a note of everything that's said. Oh, and I should do that.
Give me another 5
Every
minutes.
word. So I can read it all back to Mr. Troy after he's gone, and
And you'll get written permission from her lawyer. Sergeant
Oh.
Davis Lawyer, please.
Yeah, very good idea, Miss Summers. Very good. And now, where were we?
discussing dolls, wasn't it?
Sure, my angel, I
Paper
love
dolls.
you dearly, but there are
Oh, that,
times
yeah.
when you don't honestly think she
Well, it
is.
might save us a lot of time if we turn to discussing what you wanted to see me about, Miss Craig.
It's about my brother, Joe.
Your brother Joey.
Oh, he's rather young, you know, and I'm worried about him.
Have you booked
Since
your
our
ticket?
parents
Of course.
died,
An open and shut
I've
case.
tried to do
Don't you
everything
know
for
that,
him.
Rennie?
Mother,
Mm,
father.
Father.
Oh, I
ladies.
know a woman can't be a
And
father
day,
to a
dear,
boy.
according to my
Or he's
information,
a
he's one of the
man.
most unpopular men in London. So,
And that's
yeah,
why
he's
I've
just
come
coming
to
to you.
you.
Seems he's double-crossed just about everyone around the place.
Yeah, well, Miss Craig, I hardly think this is my line of work.
Please, Mr. Troy, it has to be someone
nothing.
like you. A private detective is not like an ordinary
How do you know?
man.
Take
Oh,
it,
no.
boy. Keep out of this one. The case
Maybe
is
a
closed.
kind of
It's
theory
not
to do.
closed. Not until that
Able
girl
to
is
look
tried
up.
and a verdict pronounced.
Look up to you just as I am.
What's that?
Oh, just taking this, Mr. Troy.
Oh. Well, see here, Miss Craig. I'd like to help you, but...
You must help me, Mr. Troy.
My name's Melissa Morgan. I'm the director of the Morgan Publishing.
I'm afraid someone may get...
Don't get so startled.
How's that again?
I'm sorry, Miss Morgan. It's just
Thought Joey's taken up
that,
some...
frankly, I can't visualize you sitting behind a company
Karate,
director. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know.
But may
Only
I see
rougher.
Mr. Troy? It's about the Rennie.
Karate, huh?
We were his publishers.
You figure he's likely to use his karate skill in a fight with some other kid?
Mr. Troy, I'm not only afraid he'll use...
There's a Miss Morgan has to see you.
I'm afraid
A director of the Morgan Publishing Company. You may go in now, Miss Morgan. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Troy. We're here to discuss the Steve Rennick case, Mr. Troy.
Oh?
We published his novels, you know. You're very sorry to hear his death.
Well, bet you will.
Good budget.
I've been a private investigator a long time. It's cynical, you know?
I don't
This looks like the place.
I'm investigating
The kid
case
would
on
most
behalf
likely
of
be
Mr.
home alone.
Reed.
I
Yes,
still
I
don't
know
see why we're
I've been
coming
making a lot of
through.
inquiries.
If ever there was a phony, it's that
I heard that
Geraldine
Steve Rennick was
Craig.
about to drop the Morgan
We'll be able
Publishing
to go to
Company.
you, Mr. Troy.
Which means you'd have lost the
Oh, no,
residual
no,
rights
no,
to his
no.
Now,
novels.
why should
That
I?
would have meant a loss
That's
of
why you
about
came to see this boy, isn't it?
$250,000
Because she wears her
to
great,
Morgan
big,
Publishing
beautiful
Company
false
over
eyelashes.
My father founded this company, Mr.
there.
Troy.
It was nothing. It still
So
is
you were
nothing
saying,
without
honey?
Steve Rennick's novel.
Eyelashes?
£250,000,
No, I
Mr.
would
Morgan.
say it was more...
Makes you
Yes?
think, doesn't it?
You know, it was really her
A
big,
motive for murder.
great, big, beautiful...
Janine Rennie
Yes.
killed Steve.
So...
Well, I'm not saying he didn't deserve to die, and I'm not saying she
Yes?
didn't have a motive.
And
Joey
I was
Craig?
saying,
Yes,
He's
Troy?
dead, and she
My
killed
name's
him.
Troy, Peter Troy.
Yes,
I'm a
yes,
private
yes.
investigator. This is my
And they're
secretary,
digging
Miss
around for
Julie
other
Summers.
motives, Mr.
All right.
Troy. None.
Well, how'd you do?
well, now I'd like proof of that.
The police
You
are
wanted to see
satisfied.
him?
You should be, too.
No, you don't mind. It
And if
won't
I'm
take
not?
long. Well, okay, well, come
Do
in.
you take a delight in courting trouble, Mr. Troy?
Oh.
Are you working
Well,
with the
that sounds
police?
like a
I'm not
very
working with
tough
anyone at the
man.
moment.
Well, I'll
Came to see you because your sister's worried about you.
Forget about Steve Bennett's death, Mr.
Right,
Troy.
your sister,
Forget
Geraldine.
your investigation.
Jake's a start of me.
There's £300
Since
here
I broke with a gang and stopped pinching cars and things like that, she's been threatening me.
Threatening you?
And if I
Ever
don't?
since I broke with a gang.
There's trouble.
Yes. Well, I told her that when a gang
No,
started
that's
stealing
easy.
cars for money, I wasn't going to be in it no more.
Just one
Well,
client
you
at
were
a
right in
time,
front.
huh?
I'm not
They're
paying your
sorry.
gang to steal cars.
They're
Not
very
my
sorry.
gang, not anymore.
That's
But
a
if you want
shame.
to paying him, you ought to talk to Harry.
Attractive
Harry
men
Morton.
like you
Who's he?
don't grow on.
Well, he used to be my pal. He
You say
runs
the
the gang.
sweetest things
Mhm.
in between threats.
Well, we'll get around to Harry. What about this? I hear that you're studying karate. Oh, you know about that? We have to practice down at the club in Chester Street. Well, Mr. Benton, he runs the club. He got this Mr. Ishimoto. He's a
Now,
Japanese.
just hold tight.
He got him to
Julie.
come
I'll
down and
just window
teach
open
me
and
judo.
down.
Judo isn't karate, Joey. Judo may be fine for self-defense, but karate,
I have to
that's
get
for
my
killers.
hand
Well, no, it
on
ain't. Well, that's what some people think, but it ain't.
Come on, honey.
Well, that's how some of our senior kids got interested in it. Mr. Ishimoto was telling us about it, and...
I like tight skirts.
Well, no,
To
it.
the front door.
Well, I better see you at this.
There's also a couple of big gendarmes watching me.
That, I
Jerry
think.
Craig.
Torch?
Yes, that's what? Inspector Caswell, are you trailing me or something?
And why?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Hello,
Somewhere
Why does
here.
everybody always say, what are you doing here, as if I have no right to be here?
So impressed me.
Well, I might just as well ask you the same question.
My
business is with this young man.
Well, they've been
What do you
searching
want with
for
me?
it.
Just let me see
There's
your
something
hands.
else besides Janine Lee and his Rennick's murder.
My hands? Yes.
I'm looking at it from another angle. Looking for another
You're
suspect.
developing quite a nice callus along the side of each palm, aren't you?
Yes,
Been practicing karate, I hear.
After
Well, yes, that's right. I've been practicing for weeks now, and you could beat a man's head in with those hands. Now, hold it, Inspector. You know a boy named Harry Morton, Craig? Yes? Oh, I know, Harry.
Page 148, huh?
Because he's dead.
149 on the typewriter.
He was found dead of head
This
wounds
manuscript's
in an alley at the back of the fun parlor where you were seen arguing with him last night, Craig. Less than an hour after
Doesn't
that
initials
argument,
either.
he was dead.
Exactly how many women are there mixed up in this case? You know, Rennick must have collected them like other men collect
Well,
stamps.
it seems Joey Craig is in a spot.
What's the matter with it?
And although I couldn't figure how I was ever going to get my fee out of this case, I couldn't leave him in it without trying to do something.
Type on this machine.
Now, from where I stood, the
Gee,
kid,
my girl, you
karate
run the
kid as I
force.
called him,
Now settle the
was
last
innocent of the murder of his former pal, Harry Morton.
That's the torture.
The police didn't charge him right off,
Coming
but
in on the fire
took him
escape.
in for questioning.
We must have
And it was hard to blame Inspector Caswell for feeling that he had the killer right there.
Keep down.
I was worried about the sister angle. I was trying to make up my mind whether I should go have a little chat with Geraldine Craig.
Okay, I
When
think it's
Julie
time.
made up my mind.
And they're getting away,
Something
too.
about that woman I don't like.
Only something? The way I had it. She didn't like my
door around the window.
Front door, come on.
Or the way she looked.
I'm trying to use my
Torch.
personal feelings.
I dropped it.
Well, this way. The front door's over here.
You just said you didn't like her. That isn't personal.
So what I mean is, there's something
Police have sealed off the apartment.
Crooked seeming. Now, that's a new one. I'm going to add it to my vocabulary. Now, what do you know about Geraldine Craig?
Oh, I know what you think.
Well,
You
and
can be
how?
certain of one
Still
thing.
say she's
This
a crook.
definitely wasn't because
Remember
of
the way
Peter
she
Crowley.
pretended she wanted to help Joey?
Maybe that
It was
and
a
Trudy knew we
strange
were there,
night.
maybe he didn't. Either way, it didn't make much difference.
Well, that is something.
Steve Rennick's apartment had to be destroyed. And, brother, a petrol fire is a good way of destroying anything, including yours truly, plus private secretary. In just 2 minutes, that whole place was a raging inferno. The flames cut off our retreat to the window and fire escape. On top of that, Inspector Mellenby's boys had put a police seal on the front door.
She's crooked.
And life was just a little more than tedious just then. And I was in no mood for any jokes about barbecue private eye.
Working you very hard, honey. We're ready. Go take the dirt about Geraldine and make it fast.
be asleep. Okay, Julie, stand back. They issued me with a permit for this thing, so I guess it's time I use it. Hey, what's going on? Plenty. Do they always have fires around here? You okay, Julie?
Excuse me. Are you Mr. Ishimoto?
A fire, and I didn't start it. Call the fire brigade.
My name's
I
Troy.
knew you'd get
Peter
into
Troy.
some sort of trouble, Mr. Troy.
Knew it or organized it, Miss Morgan?
There was a police seal on that door.
Look, I can explain, but nobody's going to believe me.
Inspector, please.
However, I would like to know how Miss Morgan got into the
About
act.
Joey Craig.
She got onto the scene very quickly, didn't she? Too quickly.
For the time being, we'll all concentrate on trying to put out this fire until the fire brigade arrives. After that, you've got some questions to answer, Troy.
Well, he hasn't been arrested yet, Mr. Ishimoto, but he will
You
be.
expect
expect me to believe a cock and bull story like that, Troy?
Yes. It happens to be the truth.
This intruder of yours, was it male or female?
I couldn't tell. The room was in darkness.
Anyway, they didn't actually come into the room, Inspector. Just shoved up the window and poured petrol over the carpet. Well, I don't think there was any intruder. I think this is all a figment of their very fertile imagination.
Now, don't you start. I'd still like to know what you were doing on the scene, Miss Morgan.
She was with me, Troy. She'd requested permission to get Rennick's half-finished manuscript.
Honey Buns and Homicide.
What's that?
Well, that was the title of it.
Just a minute.
Something wrong?
I don't know. Just a minute. Yes, listen to this. This is a copy of Janine Lee's statement after we arrested her. Steve Rennick's last words were, "Too late, honey buns and homicide, baby. Honey buns and homicide."
Well, he must have been so negative to mention the name of his book and his dying breath. Miss Morgan, what do you intend to do with the manuscript? Half a book isn't much use to anyone, is it?
We'll have one of our staff writers finish it.
Staff writers? You employ staff writers?
Well, there are a couple of people we can call.
Either of them worked for Steve Rennick before?
Yes, one of the proofreaders.
A girl? Troy, I don't... Just a minute, Inspector. There's a reason for this, believe me. One of them is a girl, eh, Miss Morgan?
Yes.
Name?
Well, Miss Morgan?
Helen Fremont. Used to do a lot of secretarial work for Steve.
Right.
Inspector, I suggest we go talk to the lady.
May I remind you that you're under arrest?
Okay, but I've got a hunch.
I don't give a hoot about your hunches.
Oh, come now, Inspector. You know about people with hunches. There have been a couple of times in the past when they've hurt you quite a lot.
That'll be enough from you.
Now, where do we find Helen Fremont, Miss Morgan?
Her brother owns a cellar club in Soho, the Carlisle. She spends a lot of time there.
But he could hit a man hard enough to kill him.
I'm sorry, Mr. Troy. We don't have him till 6.
Well, I'm not a customer, Mr. Fremont. I just wanted to have a chat with your sister. Helen is here, isn't she?
Who wants to know?
Either, Troy. Just tell her it's about Janine Lee and Steve Rennick. She'll understand. Now, look, tell her.
I'll be watching you, Troy.
You do that.
Anyway, that's Mr. Ishimoto's story, and he's sticking to it, Julie. How did you make out with our dear Geraldine?
You wanted to see me, Mr. Troy?
Yeah, if you're Helen Fremont.
I am.
You know what I like about this case? It's just oozing with pulchritude. You know what pulchritude means? It means feminine glamour. Then, of course, you know what the word means. After all, you're a writer, aren't you?
Hardly.
Oh, but I heard different.
What do you mean?
The truth. I found it's an elusive thing. Much more elusive than that perfume you're wearing.
What are you driving at, Mr. Troy?
Didn't anyone ever tell you about that perfume, Helen? It doesn't become you at all. It's too, thick and heavy. And it's like a trademark.
What do you mean?
Rennick's apartment reeked of it the night he was killed. The manuscript of his half-finished novel reeks of it, too.
What are you talking about?
Honey Buns and Homicide. And I don't mean the title of the book either.
Harry? I think there's going to be.
You'd better tell that fella to keep away from me. I don't like his face. I'm liable to want to change the shape of it. Why, you... If you see what I mean.
You want to get away with it?
No, Harry, we don't want any trouble.
Yeah, but...
What do you want with me, Troy?
Confession. This isn't a joke, Miss Fremont. You killed Steve Rennick.
Did I? Tell me about it.
First, I'll tell you this. Steve Rennick was no writer. In his whole life, he only wrote one book, the first one. It caught the public's eye, and it was a bestseller. But he couldn't maintain the standard. Well, his name was made, but he just didn't have the talent to write another novel.
Then who wrote the others?
You did. You were his ghostwriter. Oh, don't deny it. Melissa Morgan spilled the beans down to Scotland Yard.
All right, so I won't deny it. I wrote all Steve's books after that first one. But that doesn't mean I killed him.
Doesn't it?
This is my secretary, Miss Summers.
Well, let's look at the facts for a minute. Now, it'd have to be someone who knew their way around Steve's apartment. Someone who knew where everything was kept. His gun, for instance. Just before you pulled that stunt with the petrol and matches, I was searching his apartment. Now, he kept his gun in his bureau drawer. And it was locked. So, apart from Steve, only one other person would have the key to that drawer. The girl who was not only his ghostwriter, but his part-time secretary. You.
That's not evidence.
Now, coming back to that fire. Now, the person who broke in through that window didn't even use a torch, and the room was pitch black. Therefore, the intruder knew her way around, knew where every stick of furniture was. You're the one that fits. And then we come to the reason behind the fire.
Oh, yes, the fire. Tell me about that, Mr. Charles.
That manuscript beside Rennick's typewriter was written on another machine. Now, that's logical, isn't it?
Of course. As I wrote the books, it's obvious that the manuscript would be written on my own machine.
Right. Page 149 was in the roller of his machine.
He always kept the last page in his typewriter so that any visitor would assume he was working on it.
Oh, that's so. But then again, on the sideboard next to the front door, we found the remains of some more of the manuscript. Yes, ma'am. Pages 150 to 163.
So,
You dropped those pages into him the day before yesterday. Just a few seconds before you pulled the trigger and killed him.
you're crazy.
He couldn't do the usual routine of slipping the last page into his machine because he was dead.
You can prove all this.
Oh, I don't have to. Now, the police are going to look after that part of it. But I haven't finished yet, either. We still have to find a motive, don't we?
Then can you?
Well, try. How does this fit? There was something else in that apartment which had to be destroyed. The original manuscript of Steve Rennick's very first novel. The one he wrote himself. And why did that have to be destroyed? Because he wrote a dedication on the front page, didn't he? It read, "For Helen, my devoted wife." And that's you, isn't it?
No. You're making a mistake.
That's why you tolerated him stealing all your glory. You had to do it. His publishers wanted it that way, didn't they? And they still want it that way. Because by now, Steve Rennick's name sells his novels just as much as their plot lines. But you'd had enough of them, hadn't you?
You don't know what it was like. No one could know.
Janine Lee?
That was the one he was falling in love with. The others didn't count. They were nothing. But Janine Lee. Yes, I killed Steve, and I'd do it again.
Okay, Troy. So now you've got the story.
I sure have, Buster.
But you're not going to live to repeat any of what you just found out.
Troy, don't be a fool. Put away that
Out of the way, Helen. Steve got everything he deserved. And now this nosy
Drop
private...
that gun, Fremont.
Why, you...
Please, drop that gun.
Oh, I meant to tell you, Ellen. The police came in here with me. They had to. You see, I'm still under arrest for unlawful entry.
Oh,
Careful, Troy.
It's okay, Inspector. You only got him in the shoulder. Did you get all that?
Yes, the sergeant got it all down in shorthand. All right, you'll have to come with us, Mrs. Rennick. You too, Fremont.
Mrs. Rennick. No one's called me that in a long time.
Just to tie up the ends for you, Helen was in Steve's apartment all the time. All the time Janine was there anyway. She heard the row, every word of it. And that was the final straw. She'd already taken his gun, so the thought of killing him wasn't a new one. As soon as Janine went into the other room to powder her nose, Helen came on out of the closet, shot Rennick, threw the gun on the floor, and lit out, leaving the repentant redhead to take the rap. As for the fire, well, it was the only way she could get rid of that evidence without attracting suspicion to herself. And as for Melissa Morgan, well, she wanted the secret kept. Her company had too much at stake. She wasn't at all keen on having me delving around looking for the truth. I was bound to find out about Helen Rennick being Steve's ghost. Well, what with ghosts and gals and honey buns and homicide, it was quite a case, wasn't it?